Actually, a great place to be. We're talking about so-called change of plans. Let me start out by saying that generally speaking, most people are uncomfortable with change. As a whole, we want the world to be predictable. We want to believe that what worked yesterday will work tomorrow. We want to be young and beautiful, and we want to remain that way for the rest of our life. But that's not how life works for us personally, and it's definitely not how it works for us professionally either. I should know, I was once 25 years old, and I looked like George Clooney, and my wife thought that I was much better looking than George Clooney as well. While this is true that I'm older now, more importantly, I'm also smarter, which is a big asset for me, because in the 38 years that I've been running the Four Seasons restaurant, I've learned that much as people do not like change. The truth, it is inevitable. And change is the only constant in life. Change is the only thing you can count on. In working with some of the most successful people on earth, world-renowned fashion designer, great architects, some of the most influential innovators of the last 50 years, I've learned the importance of not only accepting change as inevitable, I've learned the importance of welcoming it too. And that's what I want to talk about today, welcoming change. First of all, let me tell you something about myself and about my work. I am from Italy, from a tiny little village in Tuscany, with no more than a few dozen people living there. It is an extraordinarily beautiful place that has always been attracting visitors from all around the world. My family ran an official restaurant hotel, which was actually our house. And as a result, I met a lot of different people when I was growing up. And I could see there was a bigger life for me ahead. My small town, it's basically the town of Lucca outside of Florence, which is about 45 minutes away from Florence as well. And so with a few $100s in my pocket and a word or two of English and a single dream, I wanted to run a big, important restaurant and share my vision of what true hospitality should be. When I discovered the Four Seasons in mid-1970, I practically insisted that they hire me. I worked my way up for the next 20 years, and I bought the restaurant with my partner in 1995. For those of you who do not know the Four Seasons, I will tell you a bit about it, because of its love of my professional life. The Four Seasons is widely known as one of the most beautiful restaurants in the world. It is located in Manhattan, and New York Magazine called it one of the greatest dining rooms in New York City. Now, I would like to explain something about the confusion, perhaps, between the Four Seasons restaurant and Four Seasons Hotel. Four Seasons restaurant is not totally associated with us whatsoever. Four Seasons restaurant, it's a totally separate entity. We run it since 1959. And even though we might have the Four Seasons name the same, but the logo is not the same, but we basically have the same vision. And we're very thankful to them because they run a tremendous hotel as well, and we're very happy with them. The Four Seasons restaurant, as everybody knows by now, was designed by Mies van der Rohe and Philip Johnson, two of the 20th century great architects. No expense was spared when the Four Seasons was conceived. They are the most cutting-edge, top-of-the-line artists and craftsmen to create everything inside, from the furniture to the service gear. And believe it or not, today like today, we still have the same tables at the Four Seasons restaurant. We still have the same chairs and the same banquette that were designed by Mies van der Rohe in 1959, which is something that it does not really exist anywhere else in the world. I'm assuming that, but I would probably say that 50 years, it's quite a long time for a restaurant of this quality. And also, the art that hangs on the wall, which includes a Picasso tapestry, is still there since 1959. Never before has a restaurant like this ever been built anywhere. And I really believe it never will be again. The Four Seasons is once in a history kind of place. In 1959, the cost of building this restaurant was $4.5 million. adjusted for inflation, that is equivalent to more than $36 million today. We believe that no one is ever going to invest that kind of money in a restaurant again. It just does not make any economic sense per se. But it will make a tremendous economic sense for any real estate executive who believes that the Four Seasons restaurant will be a point of attraction for anywhere the builder would like it to be, which is very important. In addition to the extraordinary design and architectural heritage, the Four Seasons is known for serving the finest food and the finest wine in the world. Caviar, lobster, white truffle, rare Bordeaux wine, and other spectacular wine, including some of the best Italian Brunello, Barolo, and Barbaresco, just to name a few. Also, the Four Seasons restaurant has always been the cutting edge as far as bringing the best wine to the table. For instance, in the early 1970s, there was basically not one single restaurant in New York City providing our clientele with California wine. And we were the first one to bring California wine to the eastern seaboard and to be able to provide the best Chardonnay, the best Cabernet Sauvignon, and the rest as far as the California wine industry, it is basically history. So from day one through today, for the last 54 years, it's only been serving the best of the best. As a result, the Four Seasons has always attracted an extraordinary clientele from heads of state, captain of industry, Hollywood celebrity, and the great innovator of our time, to royalty, aristocrat, and jet setter as well, just to name them. And I'm sure they passed through our doors one time or another. I bring this up in this discussion about the importance of welcoming change because at the end of 2008, when the US economy was crashing, some people, actually many people, told me that the Four Seasons was recession-proof because our guests were so rich. They would say, you don't have to be worried, they told me. Money is not an issue for your guests. They will never change. And that's why the Four Seasons has been so successful for so long. Not true at all. I'm here to tell you that something like that couldn't be further from the truth. In a city like New York City, where most restaurants fail within the first 5 years of operation or less, there is one reason the Four Seasons has thrived while competitors have come and gone. The reason is that we accept the world is always changing and we welcome it. We look for a way to anticipate it, and we embrace it. We hire and nurture a staff that is agile and can evolve in changing customer needs, new technology, new economic and new ideas. Why would we welcome change, you might ask, when our clientele is among the wealthiest in the world? It's very simple. There is a quotation that is often attributed to the scientist Charles Darwin, who is known for his groundbreaking theory of evolution. He says, "It is not the strong of species that survive, not the most intelligent, it is the most adaptable to change." I believe Darwin's theory about adaptability are as applicable today as they were 150 years ago when he was studying evolution. I believe that those businesses and those people who know about to effectively adapt are the ones not only survive, but they're going to thrive. They are the innovator, they are the one who changed the world. I believe that there are three things every creative businessman should know about to welcome change effectively. First and foremost, you have to know who you are at the core, which is important. You have to look at the big picture rather than the detail that will inevitably change, and the economy and consumer taste change. To use an extreme example that is easily illustrated this point, I'll point out to the fax machine. Back in the 1980s, a fax machine was an exciting tool. But if you or your company were to base your identity on that specific product, you'll be out of business today because no one uses fax machine anymore. That's an obvious point. But if you can carry that example over into your business or my business, I'll bet you'll find some people in your organization that are stubbornly clinging to the belief in something that will make a much of a dinosaur to the fax machine is today. At the core of the Four Seasons, we are a refuge, an oasis in the middle of Manhattan where everyone